Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Welcome to Schmactors, a podcast series that seeks to answer the question, are Hollywood actors all spoiled, vapid, vacuous, and vain ingrates, or do some of them actually have interesting views on issues of the day? Or is it a mixed bag? James Marsters and Mark Devine are putting themselves to the test. They're leaving it up to you to decide if they're interesting or just plain nuts. Listen as they peel back their craniums, share the surprising thoughts that fill their heads, and draw back the curtain on the world's zaniest town.
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Jason,
Hey,
I can
buddy.
see you very clearly. I can see Mark.
Good.
It's awesome. Good to be back with you
Good to
guys.
see you guys. You're wearing your Chiefs jersey. I'm so proud of you, buddy.
I am
Thank you.
representing, and I put this on for you, Mark, because the Chiefs are just killing it this year. And I was thinking, am I a fan of the Chiefs or am I a fair weather fan of the Chiefs?
No.
Because really, I like excellence, and I'm just drawn to this team. I'm drawn to Patrick Mahomes because he's like the Mozart of football, and you just never know what's going to happen when he takes a hike and gets to the ball. And I just asked myself if like Patrick Mahomes, like I'm retiring at the top of my game, and he goes away, and suddenly the Chiefs are having struggling. Am I going to wear this jersey that I'm wearing right now? See,
well, right
you
now,
would. You're a Chiefs fan. You grew up with the Chiefs.
Well, we were friends when the Chiefs weren't doing very well anyway, and I remember
watching.
pulling. Yeah, but you would always watch it with me wherever we were. We'd pull it up at like 3 a.m. and we watched a Chiefs game from Europe or something, and you would say like, man, I don't know if this is healthy for you, Mark, because they'd always lose in the last second. So,
you would always be so hopeful at the beginning, and then you'd have
my
a
Chiefs
bad
and
day.
Royals.
You're getting yours now, though. You've gotten your revenge.
Yeah. Well, I can't. I feel rude living in Georgia. I don't want to wear my jersey or anything of Chiefs. It's kind of like me walking around with I'm a liberal shirt on. People would have things to say, and so I don't want to offend anybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because we're not liked. The Chiefs, obviously, kind of like we don't want to turn into Boston Patriots fans necessarily.
Yeah, you got to lose this year so that doesn't happen.
I think we'll lose next week against the Bills. We'll play this back. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so what's the quarterback for the Bills?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Okay, so I was watching football and Josh Allen is just being Superman again.
Yeah.
And I was just
amazing.
like, I hate Josh Allen. He's beautiful. He's so pretty, and then he's so tall and strong, and screw him. Screw Josh Allen. And he's also so talented and successful, and he's rich. Oh, they just love Josh Allen. Screw him. It's just
we
he's
look
done
at
nothing
everything
wrong.
Yeah, no, but he's an enemy because that's because we're looking at it through late 50s, early 60s old men. Like he thinks he's
Even
so
when
cool.
I was 25 years old, looking at Josh Allen, who literally, I can't think of something that guy does not have naturally that every man would like to have.
Well, like Tom Brady,
Yeah, but Josh Allen's even taller. Like at a party, even Tom Brady would be like, man, screw that Josh Allen. He's
but dude, can you imagine waking up in the morning and you open your eyes and there's Tom Brady like saying, good morning, and doing that stretch. And you kind of go, can I get a hug? Can I get a hug?
That would be another nightmare that I would have
weird.
to share with you, Mark. I had a Tom Brady dream, and it confused me.
Just to have coffee in bed,
I would wake up
nice. I don't know what's happening to my body,
He
Mark.
does have lovely eyes, though. I have to admit, he does have nice eyes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Save
what
me,
was the question,
Jason? Yeah, let's kick it off and let's answer a question from one of our wonderful friends out there.
This one comes from Robin. Hello, gentlemen. And Mark. My question stems from my binging a podcast.
Well played, Robin.
My question stems from my binging a podcast on Deathbed Confessions, and here it is. What deathbed confession, fiction or truth if you've got it, would you make to mess with those left behind? Are you D.B. Cooper, a Russian spy, or maybe Madonna's guilty pleasure?
Wait, what was the first one? D.B. Cooper?
Yeah, he's the guy that jumped out of an airplane with a bunch of cash and no one ever found him. Like he jumped out in the Everglades or in the wetlands and no one ever saw him again.
Oh, I thought it was the actor. Yeah.
No, different guy.
Oh,
and
boy.
I would not want to be Madonna's plaything, even at the height of Madonna's 80s Madonna-isms.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. As a musician, I don't think she's a good songwriter. I just don't.
No?
I don't think her songs are particularly interesting. No.
I love her music. I'm a huge Madonna fan.
Wow.
I love Madonna.
I just never. Maybe it's me.
I think in retrospect, but no, she started there was a bar, a club in the Lower East Side. And I want to think it was called Boy Toy or something like that. It was like something really offensive, but at that, late 80s, early 90s kind of thing that everybody would just go into. And, but it was constantly about her and Sean Penn. I can't think of like imagine going to Sunday brunch with them. I don't think it would be relaxing. And that was her Boy Toy.
Yeah. Like Bruce Springsteen had a wife that no one understood why they were together. And I never understood why Sean Penn and Madonna were together. I didn't get it.
Me too.
Something works. Something works that I'm not aware of. And I always respected Madonna as a businesswoman. That's like she's a genius
for sure.
That,
yeah, for sure. Ambitious.
So that I'm sure she was very intelligent and powerful and wonderful person and everything like that. I just didn't like her music. What mess with people on my deathbed?
And I love her idea for a podcast. That's a really great idea. Deathbed Confessions. I have to check that out. Man, I think as I'm going under, I would just say I'm gay.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then they'd be like, that's okay.
Then they would just fall flat. No one would be like, oh.
Yeah.
They just pat your hand. It's okay.
Yeah. And then my last words would be JK.
That's the problem with you, Mark, is that you mess with me all the time.
Well,
so I have a hard time believing anything that comes out because you're just messing with me. It's always a possibility.
And Jackson too. And my son Jackson will say pinky promise on that. And we've decided pinky promise is we tell the truth. So I say no pinky promise. So it never works.
Will you do pinky promise with me too, Mark?
I will.
Or is that just for Jackson?
Yeah.
You lie to me about it, though. No, I can't trust your pinky.
Well, because I go into the Superman of my dad saying that he's actually from Kansas. And I'm like, wait, this guy's real? Because I told Jackson, no, Superman's not real. And, but Pa had me believing that he was real, that he was, he wrote for the Kansas City Star. And I'm like, I was so confused. Because then Jackson said, but Spider-Man and everybody else are, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Okay, Jason, save me, because I've got bupkis on this. What would be your deathbed confession to mess with me, assuming I outlive you?
The money is buried beneath the...
Brilliant. Yes.
That's good.
That's very
good.
So it's not real.
Wow.
It's not real. I mean, I think she's doing a show on, what is something real that you would say?
But fiction or truth. It can be fiction or truth.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to go truth because I'm not dying. The deathbed confession is the one that you don't have to deal with the aftermath of admitting that. So that the last thing I'm going to do right now is tell that one or the handful of ones that I might have. So no. So it would be the lie. And it would be great to have a big treasure hunt where that
would be great. That's very
X
funny.
on the horizon is actually the palm trees that are crossed like in that movie, and just run everybody around, and then at the end
just drive your family insane.
Yeah, and a great treasure box that's actually in the ground. They dig it up, and then they open it up, and they just no, love you. That one, they'd be like, screw you, Dad. God.
That's good.
I love you. That's the biggest treasure any human can have. Screw you, Dad. Some platitude,
That's
some
good.
platitude that you could write, some inspirational
That's the
thing off
greatest
the
treasure
internet.
anyone can have. God, he got old. Thank God he's gone. Holy God.
That's what I would do.
The hell.
Because it would be true. Because it would
That
be
would
true.
be
The
true.
greatest
I
thing
like that.
that I ever gave you was
Yeah.
my love.
Oh, I like that. It would piss me off, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want gold, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you good for?
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Oh, next question.
Very
Jason.
creative.
These
Very
are really
creative.
good questions, man.
Yeah.
I was stumped.
All right, this one comes from Sophie. Hi, I just saw my first concert yesterday. It was Everclear and it was awesome. I was wondering what your first concert was like.
Oh,
Wow. Oh, wow. Yes, mine was Neil Diamond.
Oh,
Neil
nice.
Diamond. And a teacher from high school drove me and 2 friends to see Neil Diamond in the Bay Area. And they drove themselves, and I drove with the teacher.
Was this in the 70s?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And
At his height.
it was peak Neil Diamond when he was rocking,
Yeah.
you know. And the movie had come out that he was
Jazz
starring
singer.
in.
Yeah.
Jazz Singer came out. It was a big deal.
Great film.
My
Yeah.
father was always a big Neil Diamond fan, so I was like, yeah, I'll go see Neil Diamond. And on the way over, I asked this teacher how he affords, like, because he's got summers off and everything, and does he have another job? He goes, yes, but I can't tell you about that. And I was like, whoa, now I got to know. He's like, well, I'm a writer. Really? What do you write? Long pause. And he says, stuff that I can't tell you about. And it came out that he
boy.
wrote pornography.
Oh, boy.
And suddenly I am very uncomfortable driving. Why is he taking me to this concert? And I just got super
This
freaked
got
out.
dark. This
And
got dark.
everything about this teacher that I had found interesting and a little strange in a good way was suddenly very dangerous.
Did
and
he
I wanted to
whisper
jump out
that
of
in
the
your ear
car.
while he was driving?
No, he was,
Stuff
he
I
was
can't
very
tell
cool.
you.
Yeah, no, but he didn't want to talk about it, for obvious reasons. But that's how he made extra money. And I remember watching Neil Diamond, and it was actually a really good concert, but I couldn't enjoy it because I had to ride an hour and a half back from the Bay Area with this guy. That's all I could think about was that. And Neil's up there going, "Forever in blue jeans," and I'm like, I'm not into it. God.
Neil Diamond's all time. That's my mother's favorite. Took her to see him. We sat I got 3rd row seats, and my mother was just enthralled, and yet she still had these giant 1970s binoculars that she would look up at him. It was starting to distract him because we're right there. Like you can see the pores of his skin, yet she's still wanting to get closer. So she's got giant binoculars, and so you could see Neil like playing to the back of the house, and and then every now and then his eyes would go down real quick to see if that old lady still got the binoculars. She held up the binoculars the whole time. The whole time. It was so weird. Mine was Kiss. I went with my best buddy,
Beat me, yeah.
Kemper Arena. We went to Monsignor, William T. Curtin, and greatest night of my life. I did not know what that smell was. A pot. And it was all over. And it's in the 70s. And Monsignor said, they're cooking steaks. And so every time I've always felt like, somebody's cooking steaks in the bathroom. That's so nice. And I love that smell. And so funny that, that was around the time that God, I guess it was still the Christian right saying like that's the Satanic Panic stuff of like they stand for the Knights in Satan's service. I still don't know how they got away with the SS, the Nazi SS. It's still so weird, but we just love the theater. That was kind of
punk, actually. Anything to piss people off.
Very much. And probably not the greatest music, but as a kid, man, you loved, like my buddy always dressed as Gene Simmons, and then I was Ace Frehley. Remember when I met Ace Frehley? That was the only time.
He was in a tent, so no one could see him, and you were invited in one at a time, and like, oh, you're so lucky to meet Ace Frehley, and you sat down and talked with him,
Yeah, but Gene and Paul never allowed him to use any Kiss merchandise, so it was just like pictures of him, like, working in his yard. He's like, you want this? Paying $50. But then Monsignor let us go back to his place, and he ordered a pizza, and he had a tape recorder, and he said, you can say the dirtiest words you want inside of that tape recorder to get it out of you. And you can take some of this pizza and spread it all over your face, the tomato.
See, that's this pinky promise on this one, Mark?
Take some pictures of us and to get all that stuff out. And he said, nobody will know but me.
Sounds like a cool guy. Yeah.
22 buttons. We'd count from top to bottom. 15. So, mama. 16. Oh, baby. 17. Oh, baby.
Oh, Catholic school. I can't think. I'm glad I missed out on.
Yeah, Catholic it's okay. School. No, I love my nuns and I love my priests. I did. All right. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. I'm not even going to ask for a pinky promise because I know.
Yeah.
That you'll lie to
why
me.
Ruin, as the Irish say, why ruin a good story with facts? It doesn't mean.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
All right. So I forget what the question was. Oh, first concert. Yeah. So that was it. It got better from then.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Just a little coda to it. I think that I actually played a music show before I saw Neil Diamond. So I think I played a concert before I actually saw one.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not saying I was any good, but I played one. Yeah.
Did you sing the songs from Annie?
With my curly hair, I would have been a shoo-in.
It's
for
a
that
hard
role.
knock life for us.
You know, I had such a baby face. I could have probably auditioned for Annie. I might have gotten a call back. They wouldn't have known that I was a dude. I used to make me so angry. Like I was so I was a Star Trek fan. So I wanted to make my own tribbles because I went to the Star Trek store in Berkeley, California. There was a Federation Outpost. It was like
Federation
for me.
Outpost. Oh my God!
You could buy all the Star Trek stuff there, and so one tribble was like $15 for one tribble, and and my stepfather was like, "You can make one of those; it'd be easy." So I went, and I found out that you could, and so I had to find artificial fur. So I was always on the hunt for long hair artificial fur from fabric stores, and I would go in there and buy my whatever I could afford of the artificial fur, and they would always think I was a woman. Girl. Well, what are you making, honey? I'm like, I'm a boy. So yeah, I could have probably been Annie.
But I thought your stepfather would have said, "You don't need the artificial fur. Look at your goddamn hair. Just cut some." And so I made hundreds of tribbles out of my hair.
That would have been disgustingly realistic, even more than the show, actually. But anyway, so that was my little coda. I kind of went off on Star Trek again.
Yeah,
Jason, save me again. What do we got?
All right, to stick with the music theme, Lisa says, I'm 50 years young and learning to play the piano. Am I too old to attempt to learn how to play?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
Mark.
no. Sorry, wrong answer. Well, if this is looped up with the other answer for me, yeah.
Well, Mark can't do it, but you can.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. You should. I think that art is one of the things that makes being a human being worth it. So you should find some way of expressing artistically and just do it. Like I used to paint and I was crap at it, but it was fun.
Here's the thing, Lisa. So you're going to work on your right hand first. I think they have you. And you're finally going to get that. And you're going to be so happy that you're going to go to bed thinking, oh my God, I can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And then they're going to add the left hand at a different tempo. And the left hand is going a different tempo than the right hand. And then all the dreams just go to hell.
Like, dun, 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 dun. And then the other hand goes, boom,
do, 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 do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I couldn't do it. I gave up.
Can you rub your head and pat your belly?
Yes.
Okay, well,
and
then
I'm
you
not
can
going to
play
do it.
piano.
I know you just did it to
Try it
show me.
again.
I'm not going to do it. I can do it.
I did. Well, I mimed it because I didn't want to mess up my hair, which turned out nice.
No, it would, because I really thought like maybe I'm like Elton John, like a savant. But I truly believe like we're pulled. I always call it a seed inside of our stomach, that we're pulled to something. And generally that is, for lack of a better, it's God's way of saying, I want you to come over here. And I've never had that. I've had that pull towards the arts in a different way. But I was always wanting to go away from where that was pulling me to try something else. And then I realized I wasn't very good at that other thing. Like every actor wants to be a singer. Every singer would like to be an actor kind of thing.
Why?
And very rarely do you find it. So
what a douchebag who would do that. Wait a minute.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Like Johnny Depp was so angry. He became such a famous actor. It's like, I didn't even want to do this. Just wanted to play my music.
Did you know he was in Platoon? Johnny Depp was in Platoon.
I think I do. Yeah, very briefly, right? He was one of the soldiers.
And they had a bar band. Yeah, and like apparently the bar band rocked because Johnny Depp was in it, and he's actually a really good guitarist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he played in the band? He wasn't a soldier?
Well, no, he was a soldier. There was no band in the movie, but, like they would hang out at the bar.
Oh, I got you.
After the shoot.
Yes.
Lick their wounds and whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, he was in the bar. I saw the documentary. Yeah. It was good.
On Platoon? Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So yes, definitely. You're not too old. And by the way, 50 is not old.
No. Well, she said young. Yeah.
Yeah. 50 is the new 30, man. So go for it. And just warm up your little wigglers and your fingers like that and go for it. Give it to yourself, man. And if you have a problem, finding a full piano, don't worry about it. Just go to the Guitar Center or another music shop and get a Casio you can get it for like $150, $200.
That's what I did.
And get one with weighted keys. They're not, the ones with weighted keys are a lot more like a piano. They're more responsive, but you can find them for not too much money. You can get a weighted keyboard, and it's affordable. So
that's what I did wrong.
Give yourself that.
Mine weren't weighted.
See,
mine were like really bad synthesizer. Here's my thing too. I think anybody that is like around 50, you're going through all that midlife stuff, and that's generally where we just decide, like, all right, I guess this is as good as it's gonna get. And then there's some people that are like, I want to try some different stuff, and especially in the arts, where I need it so bad. I was telling James, I want to go see opera. Like I want to go to the Nutcracker or show Jackson the theater. Like I'm craving it. Hey, I just said Nutcracker. He just heard that. And because we feel like we're supposed to be adults by now and have this 9-to-5 job and go to TGI Fridays to have a few to drink or whatever and watch football on Sundays and do the whole thing over again. And life, it just gets really mundane and really depressing. And so I love, like we have one of your fans, one of mine too, friend. She is an actor, director, set design. I mean, just does it all. And I love it. I love that. If I'm going to do that, I don't want to be 90 years old sitting in a rocking chair saying, I wish I would have at least tried.
Yeah, exactly.
Let that air, give that air what I just said.
Like that's the end of the episode.
Okay, now say something.
Cut out on that. It's gone. Yeah. Okay, so after that wisdom, that was really wise, Mark. I'm glad you said that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Jason, I have no more funny, so hit it.
All right, let's take it down a notch. Okay. Jessica would like to know, would you be willing to kill a man, a really good person, if we prove to you that this will prevent climate change forever.
Oh, wow.
Yes. In a second. I've already come to peace with this because I had to play a person who was trying to come up with fusion power, and he had to kill a teenager once a year. Yeah, and I had to realize I would
Pinky
do that.
promise?
Yes. Pinky promise. Yes.
How did you rationalize
Mark,
this?
would you would you let the whole human race die so that you could go to your grave with a clear conscience? Is that heroic, or would you be the
There's
hero?
no way.
No. Yeah.
In reality, there's no way I could kill somebody. I mean, I'm the guy. I swerve off the road to avoid a squirrel. I couldn't live with myself. If we're talking reality.
Yeah, it would be horrible. Yeah, I would feel horrible. I would probably throw up and hate myself for the rest of my life. But I would hate myself for the rest of my life if I knew that I passed up that opportunity and the human race might actually go extinct because I couldn't do that hard thing.
Yeah.
How could I live the rest of my life knowing and watching, storms go in and everyone else and all the floods are killing people, and I could have stopped this with one stroke
That's a great
of my
question.
sword.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I know that you couldn't kill somebody. I know you wouldn't kill somebody.
Oh, I totally could.
No. So you're just using your acting right now. I would just start listening to the news where they say like everything's fine. Here's a snowball, and you say that that kind of stuff. Everything's fine. It's just nature. What about the record-setting? It's showing here on it. No.
That's how you combat
just
climate
avoid.
change.
I'm just gonna
just listen to the
gonna
right
avoid
podcast.
everything. Yeah, listen to the people that just.
Well, I don't know, man. I think that the heroic thing would be to become the villain and let people judge me and spit on my grave, but going there knowing that I had done one horrible thing so that everyone could survive, and I would be a villain. I would have to become a villain to do it. Yeah.
Do we get to pick who we're going to kill?
No, it has to be a good person.
Oh, that's what she said. Yeah. No,
okay, so Mark, I give
drinking.
you license.
Yeah.
Because I have kids, if someone comes up to you and says, I will fix climate change if you kill James, you can kill me. It's okay.
For real?
For realsy. Pinky promise on that one. Yeah. I'm serious. I am serious. Because then my kids will be okay.
He's doing a lot of pinky promising.
But you just have to hold my hand at the end.
James.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to don't do it like all violent and scary.
You don't want me to come up from behind.
No.
Okay.
No. I want you to take me out slowly and lovingly
in the woods
and gently.
Okay.
Yeah, bleed
with
me
medication,
out slowly,
maybe?
and tell me what a great guy I am and how everything's going to be okay now because you are amazing. And then,
or I'll hold your head while we're laying down in the woods as I've kind of drugged you and say, go to sleep, and just kind of rub your forehead as then I could break your neck. And then I'd say, it's okay.
Just mice and men me. Just Lenny me.
Yeah, Lenny you. And then put some leaves over you.
Yeah.
But then I'll be caught and I won't be able to be with my son. And I'll be depressed.
That's not part of the fantasy. That's not part of the fantasy.
Oh, it's just a fantasy.
So Jason, just to be clear on the question, can I kill this person in a very kind way?
Jessica did not state what the method of murder would be, so I believe you have artistic license.
There it is. So this helps. So like an overdose of heroin, because I've never done heroin, or I probably don't even know anybody that's done heroin.
I'd like to go out with propofol.
They say it feels great, right? So you just give them too much and just let them fly for a while on a good amount and give them enough for an overdose, and then you're gone. I guess if I had to go, when it comes time for you to kill me, Mark, to save humanity,
you want to get high?
That would be my choice.
Okay.
Yeah, like heroin overdose, and then throw me out of a plane, and I'll just be like, "This is awesome."
The plane might be hard because I'm on a budget. How about just the heroin?
Damn it. Off a cliff? No, that's not
because
good.
there's no cliffs here, and I'd have to come back to California.
I'd want to die of heroin before I hit the ground. So no, not a cliff. Okay.
I'll just give you a bunch of the drugs if that's good. Are you cool then?
Yeah, but you have to ask the person, get a pinky promise on the saving humanity thing before you kill me.
I just told Jackson that you're making a lot of pinky promises. And Jack said, who is?
Maybe it should be a toe promise so that I don't infringe on your relationship.
A pinky
with your son.
toe. Okay.
Yeah, a little toe promise. A stinky toe promise. That'll be it. Stinky toe promise.
Stinky toe. Okay.
Yeah, because all my toes are. Jason. What's up? What's up, man?
Christy would like to know whether you guys believe in ghosts or Bigfoot.
Oh. Jackson and I talk about this all the time. Yeah. I so badly, I love all that stuff. And we'll watch, I'll even show him stuff on YouTube, the ghost hunters and all that stuff. And, and I so badly want to believe it. When I was going through financial problems, with the IRS and everything, I so badly wanted to call them and say, look, I would have invited for my walls to bleed and hearing fingernails, all the ghost stuff, because it would take me out of the real fear of life. And I've even done seances, Ouija board, all of that. And I've always been open to it, but I don't believe in that. Bigfoot's probably another thing, because I know that they are discovering more animals here and there, but I think anything that big, I'm 57. I don't believe any of this stuff.
I am opposite. I think that the Bigfoot stuff is not true because it's so easy to fake and you get so much money for the video.
Yeah.
That all the evidence is it's all just people messing with us. But ghosts, man, I just read this book in my time of dying that actually Jason recommended because it's an awesome book. It was about this guy, Sebastian Junger. So he wrote this awesome book. So Sebastian was raised by a scientist as a father and a very spiritual mother. And he had a near-death experience in which there was a black void of nothingness that there was no tunnel of light and all of that stuff. It was just nothing.
Like propofol. Yeah.
But out of nothing came his dad, the scientist, who said, it's going to be okay, follow me. And then he was saved and he didn't die. And he wrote this book basically asking the question, what the heck was all of that?
Yeah.
And he examines it both from spiritual side and from the scientific side. Is there something after death that's real, or is this just some kind of brain hallucination as we're kicking off? And he examines it from both sides, and he comes up with really good stuff on both sides. Yeah. And he was talking about in war, oftentimes a family member of a soldier who was killed will have a dream right at the moment of death for the soldier in the field, or right after that, they'll have a dream and they wake up from it where that soldier comes to them and says, I just got killed. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. Everything's fine. You're going to be okay. And I'm definitely good. And this has happened so many times, they don't really have an explanation for it. And there's other things that make me think that there is more than we understand. And I don't know what that thing is, but I think that there is something going on, and it could be some of this ghost stuff is explicable by what we don't understand.
I was around my uncle's deathbed while he was dying. Have you ever been there to watch somebody die? To be told
no, but I've been in elevators with dead bodies because I worked at a hospital, which is very uncomfortable.
Okay, yeah, different, kind of different. But we knew he was going to die. Doctor said we're going to extubate him, and he'll probably have 45 minutes, and we all, Wait
a minute, you had to extubate him?
Yeah, so they intubated him because, he wasn't able to breathe on his own. And then they said,
thank God. I thought it was a different thing. No, you got to extubate your uncle. Be like, no way in hell.
Yeah.
No way.
No
way.
No, not that. And once he passed, we're watching the blood pressure, and the doctor was there to, call it. Like something white came out of him that I thought was just like the sun reflecting or something. And I'm just such a skeptic, and I didn't say anything. And then my sister, as everybody's crying and, saying goodbyes, my sister said, what was that? And I said, Uncle Dick, and she brought this white thing that came out from him. And so that's the only thing I've ever experienced that was really powerful. And then I forgot my jacket. I walked back in and saw my uncle just, gone. It's so weird where you can tell how he was living. You could feel that energy. And then there's just absolutely zero energy, obviously, when I went back in, and it was just like a piece of furniture, his body, you know?
Yeah.
So I sat on him
That's
and
a moving story. You sat
punched
on
him. I wanted to sit on
and I
him to
have a
see if he
final
was
question
faking
about
it.
this.
Yeah.
Who extubated Uncle Dick? I'm just
The
what?
doctor.
Okay.
Now-
well, it's his job.
Now, it's
Okay.
funny because,
They have to do weird things.
yeah, we have 2 Dicks in our family. And as my mother say, you know, what I'd say, well, Uncle Dick, she would say, Joanne's dick.
I love your family. By the way, apropos of nothing, I love being in Jason's studio. I have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
I've got coffee provided.
Yeah.
I've got my little throat lozenges in case my tongue gets dry.
God bless you,
And
Jason.
this week I have a back scratcher. Thank you, Jason.
Oh,
I'm
are you kidding?
gonna scratch my back. Oh, I'm
Are you
not even
gonna-
joking. This is so good. Mark, what do you have on your end? Do you have any back scratches or candy or anything?
Nope. Coffee.
Mama.
I thought you were going to start advertising like we got a sponsor.
No,
No.
it's just a back scratcher. Oh, you can get them anywhere, but they're so
Oh,
good.
man. Jason, you're a good man. Did
You're
you
gonna
really
have to
put those
wash
in
this,
there for
Jason,
him?
Because I haven't showered yet. Oh, this is so
Jason's going to
good.
say that's not a back scratcher.
You can keep that one.
Wow, I feel good.
Yeah, you can keep that one. It's free.
Oh, I feel so good. Okay, next question. I'm energized.
Hanny from Glasgow would like to know, what's the most interesting thing you've ever researched for a role?
Murder. No. Let's see. I guess I would say it would be what was researched for me when we were doing Romeo and Juliet. You have a guy
Ugh.
in professional theater. You have a guy called the dramaturg, which sounds kind of weird, but he's the person that's supposed to teach you all about the world of the play and the world of the author who wrote the play. So he came in and he said, okay, guys, Romeo and Juliet is not a play about love. It's about love getting crushed. And everyone went, what? And he said, okay, this is what happened right before Shakespeare wrote this play. He said, Shakespeare lived in a world where there were no cops and your reputation was everything. It was like all of London was like the prison yard. So if you had the rep of being a badass, nobody messed with you and you had a peaceful life. But if you had the rep of someone who took guff, people would be messing with you all the time. So you had to protect your reputation for being a badass. You could not fight if someone wanted to fight you. So, and he said, what happened was that they got really good at making swords. So in the beginning, swords were basically kind of like clubs because the metal was so soft, there was no edge. And you have these soft metal swords and they had kind of an edge, so they were better than a club, but not much better than that. And then over the decades and the generations, they got better at folding metal and they got better at metallurgy, and you had more of an edge. But, that's why people had armor, was to protect them from these huge swords, which were more than anything kind of bludgeoning instruments. They had a pretty good edge to them, but mostly it was a bludgeoning kind of thing. And consequently, the only people to have deadly armament were very rich people who could afford a full coat of armor, which had to be made when a son was born and would take 18 years to make this thing, and they would give it to him. God help him if he had a growth spurt, that was unexpected. But so anyway, so to cut to the chase, by the time Shakespeare's around, they'd gotten so good at metallurgy that they were able to make what was essentially a large needle, and they called it a rapier. And this thing was like a lightsaber. You could take that sword and stick it underneath the plate armor of any knight and just stab him and kill him. And in a stroke, armor was obsolete, and you had a burgeoning middle class, especially in London, who could afford one sword. And everyone who could afford one got one, and everyone is basically walking around London with a lightsaber. And everyone has to protect their honor. And it was a bloodbath. Society was just like, they only recorded the gentry's deaths, but 30% of the population died in a few years. It was just mass fighting and death. And that was what Shakespeare was writing about, was the crumbling of society because of this new weapon. And he just chose young love as something that was being lost that the audience would care the most about. He could have chosen other things that were being lost, but the one that really had the emotional hook with the audience was young love, because we're all just like, oh, let them have their young love, you know? And so I thought that was very interesting.
Wow, your dramaturg was so much better than mine. Romeo and Juliet was the first thing I ever got paid for, and traveling around, and the dramaturg there just said, like, you love her like you love a puppy.
Wow.
And
how did the actress feel about that one?
She made like a puppy face because we're still like young and we're all still like trying to like, please like me. And then I made a puppy face back, and then we started kind of bouncing around saying, I'm a puppy. And she went, woof, woof. And I started doing it. And that weird stuff where we're like, both of us are in fear because we have no idea what to do, but yet we're trying to show like, I'm fine with anything you do to me or say about me. And she said, you're like a child with a puppy. And so you have to remember to be childlike. That's how he goes. And I'm like, I hate this play.
By the way, I only have so many theater stories to share because I quit doing theater essentially, pretty much. I mean, I've done some plays, but when I was 34, I stopped to come down to Los Angeles and started doing television. So I have so many theater stories, actually.
I think a lot of people think that, and that is where you do the research, is in theater, at least when you're young. When you start doing television films, everybody thinks you're like Robert De Niro. You get like 6 months to, put on pounds and really research everything. And it's like, no, you're shooting the next day after you're hired. And they chose you because you're that person.
That was the weird thing about Spike, actually.
Yeah.
That I had to imagine myself like I'm playing a character that's having a really great time, like the time of his life, slaughtering innocent people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And now I want to actually grapple with that. Like, if I'm going to play this role and really dig into it, I've got to find that piece of myself that could do that. And I had 3 days.
Yeah.
And that, I like to think of myself as a decent human being who would not have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
I think we all do, I hope. And that was a mountain, I got to admit. Luckily, I just come off of a Macbeth in Seattle, and I had done research about being a soldier. Because, Macbeth, he doesn't love killing people, but he doesn't mind killing people. It's his job. He goes to work and he splits people open, as they say, from the nave to the chops.
That was my stroke. That was my part, the captain. I opened that play with that, from the nave to the chops.
Yeah, which is the nave is the part of the body that we can't talk on a family show that only men have, and the chops is the mouth. So he split a guy open from the bottom to the top.
Okay, so the dramaturg didn't tell me that either. He said it's from here, and he tickled my belly, and he goes, oh, and he did like a spider walk up to your neck.
Oh my God, your nave. We all have
right
one.
There.
Oh my goodness.
Up to your chops. And then he put his finger over my lips.
So I had to I did a lot of research with soldiers and the psychology of being a soldier. And so I had kind of found how I might just go to work, kill people on the battlefield, and come home and be like, what's for supper, honey? And I'd kind of, for myself, I don't know if it was how close it was to reality, but in my own mind, I was able to kind of get there. So it was less of a mountain. I think the only way I could get over the mountain for Spike was that I was kind of halfway up already, and just give myself license. Because what I read is that one of the things that soldiers don't talk about is that there is a rush when you kill someone, and it's just a 1,000,000-year-old voice that says that I am surviving and you are not. The moment came when one of us was going to die, and I get to live.
Yeah.
And it's just a predator. It's the predator within us. Maybe it's the same feeling that a lion has when they take a gazelle, but there is a dopamine rush when you kill someone. And soldiers actually feel very guilty about this when they come back, and they feel like they're evil. And unless they talk to someone about it and find out that they're not alone and that that's just a normal human reaction and you don't have to feel guilty about it, that can really weigh you down. So that helped too. But that was a weird one, I got to say.
There was some young kid actually that heard what you just said, and obviously something was wrong with him. It was a famous murder. I want to say he lived in Arizona. I can't remember his name. You can look it up. But he was like a teenage boy, and he wanted that rush. And so he went and he murdered a homeless man underneath a bridge, brutally, cut him up and all that fun stuff. And he was very open to the investigators. Once he's like, yeah, I did it. And they're like, well, why did you do that? He said, well, I just heard about this rush. And they're like, okay, did you get this rush? And he said, no, I didn't get anything. I was expecting it. And but it was very kind of, it obviously, I don't know what you diagnose him with, but devoid of any
douchery.
Sort of, I get that, and probably psychotic and, sociopathic, but didn't get that rush. So he's probably in prison like, no, I never got the rush.
Yeah, so young people out there who might want to be doing this for fun, don't do it. Because you might not get the rush. And even if you do get the rush, what follows, the lifelong prison sentence, because they really do catch these people, is not a rush at all.
Wait, can I tell mine real quick? The research I had to do, first play in college was a gay play called As Is, because everything was gay there. That you would do. A beautiful play, though. But I thought, me loving James Dean, I'm like, well, I want to do my research. So Lawrence, Kansas, I think called the Flamingo. I think it was the Flamingo. It's a gay bar. And I got lost and asked a cop, do you know where the Flamingo is? Like the Flamingo, the bar? And I'm like, I said, I'm not gay, And he goes, no. It's up here. And I said, okay, I'll go up there, and I'm doing this for research, and so I go there, and later I see the cop come in off duty. He's like, you said that you were going to come here, and I thought, why not? Sounds like it's so boring in this town. And I'm like, yeah, I know, and so we'd see each other there. Like I went for like a week, and we would just sit there, and he would just keep saying, I'm not gay, and I go, neither am I. And then we'd run out of conversation. We'd just look around, and he'd be like, look at that. God, I'm not gay, though. And it did nothing for the performance. I just felt like I should see and get my right ear pierced, because right is wrong and left is right. So I went all out. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
My God. I bet you were fabulous, Mark. I bet you were fabulous in that play.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. But I did get a laugh. That's all I wanted. That's all.
Good.
But then there was one guy that really was gay, but he'd always talk about, I can't believe my wife divorced me. And he became a very good friend. And then when my father came up to see it, I didn't tell him it was a gay play. And he's like, you got some jewelry on your ear. And I said, yeah, Dad, it's for the, play. He's like, okay. And then my friend, who was just super flamboyant, he came over. He's like, are you Mark Devine? Are you responsible for this man, Mark Devine? And he's like, yes. And he'd walk away, and my dad just got really uncomfortable, and he took me in the bathroom, and he said, that man is gay.
You didn't prepare him at all, Mark.
No.
Is this?
No.
Yeah, and you did it to mess with him, I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I just never, like the first job in New York I got was Romeo and Juliet. And my dad, I remember telling him on the phone, he started crying. He's like, I knew you were going to make it. I failed to mention, it's in the basement of a church, and I'm doing soliloquies underneath a basketball goal. But he came all the way out, and my father always dressed so nicely. You never saw him without a suit. And so there in all the lawn chairs that didn't match in the theater was my dad, and like a homeless man. His dad's by himself in his 3-piece suit watching it. And he's like, well, you learned, boy, a lot of lines, huh? And I knew that in his mind, it was going to be at the Neil Simon or, the Broadway theater. And he's like,
surprise.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to Kansas City now. Good job. Keep going. Very awkward.
Oh, so what did he say about your performance as the gay man? Did he have any reaction?
He would say, it was good, which means I don't know anything else to say. When your voice
And
goes up,
he was fairly homophobic, I imagine, your father, yeah?
No, I'll tell you what. My father would be a great father if I were gay. He
Good, okay. Go on.
He said something great about we had this Olympic athlete in my uncle's side, I guess, and his name is Dirk, and just all American, just everything that you would think of, like blonde hair and just looks like superhero and everything. But he came out gay, and the family was like just horrified. And my dad said, "Well, he's still Dirk." And that's my dad.
Good for him. Like
this
him.
Before
Like
Fox
him better
News.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We do not have time for another question. Oh my God, this time went so fast. It's almost unfair.
You guys, how are you? Yeah.
I'm so much better now that I've scratched my back. Oh my God, I feel so good. I want to always
scratcher.
be in this room.
Yeah.
And Jason told me I'd get to take it home, so you know what I'm doing
What?
today.
It's a souvenir.
Yeah.
You can just stay at home and scratch yourself.
Please myself. Yeah.
Jackson, James got a free back scratcher from Jason.
Mm-hmm.
You want chicken? Dinosaur chicken? Okay, we're going to take a break for dinosaur chicken, guys.
Enjoy your dinosaur/chicken meat, and I will see you next week, my friend. And Jason, my friend, so good to see you. We're in the same town, so we'll hang out.
I feel happy. Thank you, guys. You did your job.
Me too.
I feel there's hope. Okay.
There is hope. There's always hope when there's Mark Devine in the universe.
Be careful
and when
with
there's
that
Jason
word, hope.
D in the universe.
That's right. Love you, dudes.
I'll see you guys next time.
See you, man.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Schmactors. Join James and Mark next time for more pointed pontification on the topics of the day. Do you have a burning question that you just can't wait to have the guys answer? Well, then head on over to schmactors.com and send it our way. If the answer won't get them canceled, we'll add it to the queue. And if you have a friend who you think would enjoy the show, use the share button in your podcast player and send it to them directly. Trust me, it'll make their day. Signing off for James and Mark, this is producer Jason. Until we meet again.